Hi everyone and welcome to a new episode of the Yarnflakes podcast. My name is Audrey and this is an itty yarny podcast from the southwest of France. Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me this week. I hope you are all doing well. May started. If you're participating in Me Made May, I hope you're having fun. I'm not really though. May's gonna be quite busy for me, so I didn't want to put more pressure on myself, but maybe next year. I have quite the busy episode for you this week. If you follow me from before, you probably know that because I've skipped a week. So I have 2 weeks worth of making content for you. And I also have, on top of that, a lot of things to announce. So yeah, I hope the episode isn't going to be too long. I'm going to try to be coherent and straight to the point. Yeah, I will have a knitting with a new design that I released yesterday, and a faux, and other works in progress. Then I will also have a really nice yarn show for you, and this is because I am one of the lucky ambassadors for Breeze, the new Making Stories publication. And we are having a little cal for it, a knit-along, so I have some yarn to show you regarding that. Then I also have spinning, weaving, and at the end I also want to share with you a lovely initiative for a French charity that's going on in the knitting French community, and yeah, a lovely pattern has been released regarding that, so I want to share it with you so that it's expanding to you English speaking folks, because I think it's a lovely project, so I'll talk about that as well. It's still not straight, is it? Better, yeah. Just tilt your head, you know. You can find timestamps to all these different sections in the description down below, so if you want to skip anything, feel free to do so. There will also be links to everything that I talk about, as well as my social media, patterns on Ravelry, etc. So I think we have to start. First off, knitting-wise, I have an FO, which is a new design of mine that I released yesterday. And I've been showing it to you as a work in progress, but here it is in its full glory. This is Milies, which is a wrap, as you can see, and I really like it. So, it's a lightweight wrap for spring, and it uses 2 colors of fingering weight yarns, and it's a rectangular shape, but it starts and ends in points, so it's like this, no? So parallelogram. Do you have a better word for that in English? Yeah. And it has a bunch of different sections, so there's some color playing thing here, some garter, because garter, and then the main bit is this lace, which you cannot see because my sweater is behind it, but yes, I really like this lace. It's just, it makes little roundish thing. This, so this is Méliès because of Georges Méliès, which is a French illusionist slash movie director slash crazy person, probably seeing images of A Trip to the Moon, which is his most known movie, where it's a moon with a rocket stuck into its eye. Basically, it's a movie from the early 20th century that is very, very dramatic. It's sci-fi from the beginning of the 20th century, so you kind of can tell what to expect. And I just really like the aesthetic of it. So that's why I decided to have this be lunar inspired. So hence the little really straight lines going both way in these texture sections. So this is sort of a slip stitch thing, and this is color work. This is trended color work. So you have the floats at the back, and then the lace, which is like little bubbles. It looks like little bubbles, and I really like it. And so you have an I-cord, because you know I like I-cords, around the edges, and you cast off and bind off like only 3 or 4 stitches, and it's really quick to make. I wanted it to be a shawl, like a wrap that you would make quickly and easily for spring, because you only have like a few, it's like 80 something stitches all the way, so it really zooms by, and the textures themselves are short repeats, so they're easy to memorize. They look funny and complicated, but they're not, and it just, yeah, you get in a rhythm very quickly, and it's also super easy to read. So if you're not used to see what your knitting is telling you, this could help maybe learn how to do that, because it's really obvious, and yeah, everything is symmetrical, so you basically don't really need to keep track of how many rows you're making, because you can count that fairly easily. And yeah, I really like it. So like I said, 2 yarns, 2 skeins of fingering weight. I used about 700 meters, a little bit over that. So you need, you need 2 skeins, and sometimes single skeins, it was the case for this, are on only 360 meters, so that's 400 yards, and I had leftovers, so you definitely have enough. I give indications of how much yarn you need left at several points in the shawl, so that you can make sure that you will not run out. But yeah, it shouldn't be a problem. Like I said, 730 meters, 800 yards, and it's quite big. And I really like the rectangle shape, because it's fairly easy. Sorry, I'm kicking the tripod. It's fairly easy to wear. You know, you can wear it like a scarf, simply like this, and it wraps around nicely, or you can put it on your shoulders if you're cold at night, because it's still quite large. But yeah, springy light. The yarn I used for the sample are Black Elephant in her singles merino base. I wanted something soft for neckwear and really light and drapey. So this is Bittersweet Symphony, nice silvery with burgundy, blue and ochre speckles, and the blue is a blue that I asked her to dye as a custom order to match the speckles in Bittersweet Symphony, and she did an amazing job, because that blue, a lot of you told me that you really love that blue, and I agree. It's stunning, and I am so happy that it is the master element of the shawl. So I released Melius yesterday on Ravelry. It's available for you, and there is the 20% discount until Sunday, and you don't need a code, just works on its own, and the link is in the description. And thank you so much to everyone who gave me nice compliments and sent me hard eyes about it. I really like it, and I'm super happy that I was able to release it in time for spring. So yeah, if you fancy a light shawl, this is one. My next FO is Tecumseh. I'm so happy with it. This sweater, I finished it like I think I finished it maybe 3 or 4 days after I podcasted last time, because this sweater is such a quick knit, it's ridiculous. I really like it. So this is a pattern by Caitlin Hunter, who's Boylan Knitworks, and lifting so you can see. I really like it. It's light and drapey, so if you haven't heard the 10,000 times I talked about this, I've chose to knit it in fingering weight instead of decay weight. So I have quite a loose gauge, you can see, which makes it super lightweight. And as you can see, it's like my body stops here, like me. If I pull it like this, my body stops here, so I have a whole lot of ease. And the sleeves start very low, which makes it like a really nice poncho kind of thing. Here's the neckline. If you remember, I was a bit concerned about the increase lines, which were really obvious because such dramatic increases for the yoke. And you can still see, like in Caitlin's sample, the little dots all around here and here, a little bit here. But it blocked out smoothly enough, and I'm really pleased with the result. I'm happy with it. So the yarn I use are superwash merino sock yarns. So this is an undyed skein. The crosses are Woolen Boon Heartland. A lot of people told me that they really like my crosses, even though they wouldn't expect it to work for variegated skein. And I agree. When you look at it, it's orange and blue, so it's quite striking in difference. But the thing is, they all look like they have sort of an earthy, grey, washed out tone to them. So that's why I think they still look coherent and good. Yeah. And this is Malabrigo in the Pocion colorway. Yeah. I changed the color, I doubled it and folded it over, and I think it looks really nice. So it's quite a high neck, which I like. I know a lot of people will probably think that that's too much, but since I used such a soft yarn and it's like really, it's loose, you know, it's stretchy and it's just sitting on my neck, I like this type of neckline. I really do. I don't tend to wear necklaces. I don't own that many. I have a couple that I like, but yeah, that's it. So it's a funny project, and it's a good example of being aware of the yarn you're using for a certain project. So the thing is, with my choice of using fingering weight yarn, I added another problem, something that could have been a problem, because I ended up doing color work at a loose gauge with superwash merino, which it doesn't look like you can see here a little bit the color that I caught, even though I did it really well. So, you know, so that's not an issue. My crosses as well, at some points are a bit looking spread out. And this is not the traditional look for color work. You know, when I make like my windfell sweater, I want something, or mittens, I want something really flat and a cohesive fabric. But for this, I wanted something light and nice and airy, and something that would look sleek, even though it's not what most people say you have to do when you knit color work. But I think that this design suits that style a bit more, and I got what I wanted. So yeah, perfect example of how you can use something that's maybe not in the rule, but if that's what you want, you can make it work. I was scared at times that it would not look good, but yeah, I'm happy that I managed to get something really cool. I really like it, and I am considering making another one, probably in decay, in darker colors maybe. What I really like about the pattern is that it's ridiculously simple. Like, the pattern is really basic. If you have never done a sweater, this can totally be your first. Do not be intimidated by the colorwork. Massive. It's not magpie, is it? The bird that's black and white and that steals jewelry. We say P. I'm not sure about the English term. Anyway, we have massive ones, like they're bigger than our cats. And yeah, they're just stealing our cherries that are not even born yet. But yeah, what I was going to say is that it's easy to modify. For example, you can totally split body and sleeves here and have a more traditional shape sweater, and then you kind of rearrange to make sure you have an appropriate stitch count for both arm and sleeves. Patterns shouldn't be impossible, I guess. And yeah, I think that's really cool. Could make a nice cardigan maybe as well, depending on the colors maybe. I really like it. So I do recommend the pattern. Be aware that the increases are going to show maybe less than mine if you do knit in decay, but I think it's okay. Yeah. I have a couple of other finished objects, but I will not show you them now because one is for my project focus video, which is coming soon, and one is a pattern. It's my Harbor View socks, and I'll just show you the finished objects when Hannah-Lisa releases the pattern. It's a pair of socks that I test knitted for her. So I will jump into works in progress. And the first one are my Latvian mitten, and I finished one. So I'm really happy with them. I do love the colorwork. This is a pattern from Hobby Wool, Knit Like a Latvian. They sell kits on Etsy, and this is one of their patterns. I don't have a kit. I used yarn from my stash, and it's Drops Flora in ice blue and black, and I think it pairs really well. That's funny, it's like color work. But yeah, if you remember, I did notches and Latvian braid, and they fit really well. These used an afterthought thumb, so you put a piece of scrap yarn at some point at the palm, and then you pick up stitches above and under, and you need the thumb, which is this little funny flower inside. And if I can I do it? Can I do it? No, I can't do it, but yeah, it matches. Basically, I was afraid it would fit awkwardly because it has no gusset, but it fits really well. Like, I'm comfortable, as comfortable as you are wearing mittens, you know. The fit is perfect. My fingers are right here. I hope it's not going to stretch too much when I'm going to wash them, but it shouldn't. It's wool and alpaca. It's quite a sticky yarn, so I think it's going to be fine. And I have already started making the second one, so I can actually show you, because I've just put in the contrast yarn for the thumb. Whoop! So I have cast on the second one right away because I wanted to get past the Latvian braid, because as much as I like the look of it, it's a bit of a hassle to work. And I've done them so that they... oh, that doesn't work. It's going to be like that when I'm going to look at them from the front. I've done the braids so that they face each other. So for the right hand I did the left linen, and for the left hand I did the right linen braid so that they look like this. And I've done quite a bit already of the chart. Like I said, I've just put in, so you see my scrap yarn for the thumb, and afterward just like an afterthought heel, basically. Knitting on those. I should finish them soonish, because really I have nothing left to do. Still loving color work on short circulars. It goes really well and rather fast. So yeah, that's where I am with those. And then I have a new cast on. Yay! Where is it? Where's my phone? It's here. So I've been talking about this since last October. I swatched, if you remember, in autumn last year I swatched for 5 big sweaters, and I'm finally making the last one. And it is the Sounders Poncho by Jessica Gore, which is the sweater collective. That's what I have. So it's this big comfortable poncho with a cable and double moss stitch texture. And I am using Drops Puna, which is 100% alpaca, which is awesome. It's a DK weight and it's so nice and squishy and all the little hairs flying. And I think this is the light grey, it's color 7. I don't remember if it's light grey or pearl grey, but it's nice. And yeah, that's what I have. So I've done the ribbing and I've just started doing the double moss stitch. This is the back. Basically you knit 2 huge squares, 3 in a bind off and neckline. So I have my little bunny. Few things about this. I have uploaded on my channel a sort of a tutorial to show you how to do the long tail cast on without a tail. I started knitting this, and the designer Jessica Gore, she gives a tip on how to do this. She says if you don't want, because you need to cast on like 200 plus stitches. And she said you don't have to try to guess a tail if you don't want to waste yarn or restart 10,000 times, like that always happens to me. I know there are techniques to calculate how long of a tail you need, but who wants to do that? I don't. And so you don't have to do this. You can just use another ball of yarn and use it as your tail. So I've put that tutorial on my channel. It's the video just before. You can check it out if you're interested. But yeah, I read that on the pattern was like, what? That's genius. That's so silly and so genius. I'm really happy I discovered this. Basically for any bottom-up sweaters, it's great. You know, when you have several hundreds of stitches to cast on, I'm just going to do that. You end up with more ends to weave in, but at least I don't have to cast on 4 times, you know. But yeah, I really liked it. I also changed a little bit something, because, you know, long tail any cast on has the right and the wrong side, and some patterns have you make an extra row to put you back on the right side at the beginning. This pattern didn't, so basically I added another row to the rib just so that the right side of the cast on is the right side of the work. Because if I show you, if that's as obvious on the camera that it is, you can see here these bumps here, tick, 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 tick. That's the wrong side of the cast on. And I much prefer the right side of the cast on to be the right side of the work, so I just added a row to flip everything, and it just means that my rib doesn't start like in the pattern, but it doesn't matter, because then you're doing double moss stitch, so it's going to be a checkered thing anyway. You have a night cord at the sides, which is worked like I don't like to work I-cords. I don't mind it. You know, you have 2 ways of making it. The way I like to do it is I knit the first 3 and slip the last 3 with the yarn in front on every row, and that makes an I-cord. And then you have the other method, which is On the right side, knit, slip, knit, and on the wrong side, slip, knit, slip. See? And if you work an I-cord, you know what I'm talking about. I do not know the advantages of one above the other. I don't think one is stretchier or anything. They look the same. They really look the same. So, if you know whether these two methods of making an I-cord have any proper difference whatsoever, do tell me. Because I'm curious. But yeah, it's so nice and soft. I love alpaca, you know I do. Yeah, I'm completely making a DK weight alpaca poncho in May. My thinking is I will not want to be doing this in August, so I might as well do it in spring before it's way too hot, even though it's probably going to take me a while, but hopefully I'll have it done before it gets way too hot. I say this, and obviously it's going to be 38 degrees in July. Basically, now I just need to make 55 centimeters of double moss stitch on 200 stitches. I just need to find another Netflix show to watch. I'm watching The Crown right now. Yeah, I don't know why I keep babbling about this. It's just a rib. But I hope to be showing you more of it because it's going to be so scrumptious and drapey. It's going to be really nice. Here's for knitting. I have been working on a lot of things, but not enough to show you. One is a design. Yeah, that's it for knitting. So yeah, a couple of weeks ago I was contacted by the lovely Ruth at Making Stories asking if I wanted to be one of the ambassadors for Breeze, and yes, yes please. You know, if you've been following me, that I absolutely love Making Stories, which is an independent knitwear publication based in Germany and founded by Verena Kors, which is a knitwear designer, and Hannalisa Haferkamp, which is a knitwear designer now as well, and bag maker and creative what's the word? Support? I don't know. I forgot the word. They've published Woods last year, which was absolutely stunning. I've talked about it. I really like the patterns in it. I really like the content. Their focus is sustainability, European-based yarns, and yeah, creating lovely minimalistic knitwear. I've done 2 sweaters out of Woods, the Sauveur Belin and the Windfell, which I love. So yeah, it won't be a surprise that I was expecting Breeze, their spring-summer publication for this year. I was really curious to see what they were going to do, and when they offered me to be an ambassador, yes, absolutely. I am really excited and happy. I will be receiving Breeze somewhere next week, I think. Shipping from Germany to France is fairly quick, except next week in France we have about 56 bank holidays, so I hope I'll have it in a decent, timely manner. So I will make a review of Breeze when I have it with me. But in the meantime, there is a knit along. Yay! So Making Stories is organizing a knit along for all the patterns published in Breeze. And so they're spring, summer knitwear garments and accessories. And all of them are so lovely. If you haven't seen them already, do check Making Stories website. I will link down below. You can pre-order the book, and basically on that page you will see photographs of all the designs. They also have put all the pattern pages on Ravelry, so I will link to that as well, so you can have a look, because just looking at the patterns, I am really excited, and I can't wait to see the books and share it more with you, because I do like the patterns. So the knit along will run until the end of June, and I will be knitting the Joran top. The Joran top is a lovely tank top with a beautiful, I'll put a picture here, a beautiful stitch, twisted stitch detail on the hem. It is designed by Rachel, who's Rach Brock Knits on Instagram, and it's really lovely and the type of summer wear that I really want to. And you know, I really wanted to be knitting more summer garments, so I am really happy because this top is knitted in lino muka, which is this. They're so cute. Look at it. So cute. It's a beautiful 100% linen yarn produced by Woolen Berlin, which is yarn shop in Berlin. They have an online shop as well, and they have a fantastic range of colors. And I've already worked with lino muka. I've made the peony top by Verena Coles, one of the Making Stories founders, and I really love it so much that I've decided that I will try to knit at least one summer top in linen every year, because I love wool and I love linen. I do want to discover more summer yarns, so I'll talk about this when I actually have Breeze with me, because I think that's going to be amazing to talk about summer yarns. But yeah, for now, this is the yarn I will be using for the cal. It's the coral colorway, and oh my god, I really like it. They have so many beautiful colors. I really it's not as pink. I've been hesitant between this and some shades of blue. It's a really affordable yarn. If you are in Europe, the shipping is not excessive. But yeah, if you like the Joran top, like me, and you want to join in the Making Stories knit along, there is a chatter thread just for us, just for the Joran top, in the Making Stories Ravelry group. So I would love to see you join in. If you want to make any pattern from Breeze, do check out Making Stories Knit Along. They have threads for all the patterns, ambassadors for all the patterns. So yeah, this is my yarn, this is the pattern I will be knitting for the knit along, and I cannot wait to start. The cast on date is in 2 days, I think. The girls are getting the book back from their printer today, I think. So yeah, we're going to cast on very soon, and I cannot wait to take pretty pictures of this. I need to wind them, but I don't really want to. It's so tiny. The lino muka I ordered for my peony top last year, it was in a bigger skein, like longer skeins, thinner but longer. Keep doing this, because how adorable. So I have 6 of them, because the top holds the yarn double. Just most of the times that's what you do with linen anyway, because it's so fine and delicate. But I cannot wait. It's such a cheerful color, and yeah. So yeah, if you want to knit the Joran top, do check the threads I will be linking in the description down below. I cannot wait to have Breeze with me and talk about all of this a little bit better and a little bit more coherently. But yeah, it's exciting. Next time I have a problem, I'll complain here right away. Like I said last time, obviously it's when you start whining about something that it gets fixed. Well, I received my electric eel wheel mini and oh my god. The package was definitely opened and damaged by the customs. Thank you. I was not charged though, so I don't know what that was all about, but fair enough. But it reached me, and everything in it was nice and working, and it's adorable. It's so tiny. It's the episode of tiny things. So if you don't know what I'm going on about, showing you this ridiculous thing, this is a miniature version of the electrical eel wheel, which are electric spinners produced by Maurice Ribble in the United States, who is aiming at making affordable electric spinners. And I am really happy that I did and that I finally have it. I have been spinning on it a little bit. It's I need to relearn how to spin. It's very different than spinning on a drop spindle, which is what I'm used to, which is to be expected. But yeah, it's a lovely experience, and I really have enjoyed the little bits that I've been doing on it. It works really well. It looks like a toy. It's not a toy. It's not a production wheel either. It cannot do everything that you want to be doing if you have a good full-sized wheel, whether it's a treadle wheel or electrical one. But it still does quite an amazing job, and I was really impressed at how smoothly everything went. The rubber band is to attach it to I'm using a book, something to weigh it down, because this is so ridiculously light that it would move. You can ply. Basically, Maurice gives another size belt that is large enough to be twisted here, so that it spins the other way, because there is no reverse on the motor. And that works really well. I was afraid that it wouldn't be too functional. I don't think it's necessarily meant to ply, but you can ply. And I have done so, and I actually forgot to grab said yarn. So, be right back. So the plying belt, since it's twisted, it's necessarily going to get damaged a bit faster. But you know, the thing is, I kind of had to run the mini almost at full speed for it. It's funny because you wouldn't think that an electrical wheel wouldn't go fast enough. But yeah, I guess you're limited by the power of the motor, which is very good. It goes quick enough to spin a single and to ply. But yeah, I had to go really fast to get enough spin, and that's the first yarn that I spun on the mini. This was just some carded merino that I made into roll-legs myself to test colors, and so I spun singles and then I plied them, and you can see that it looks horrible. The plying is okay, but it's just that my singles were really weak because there wasn't enough spin on them. Yeah, I'm still adjusting to that, actually, to being able to have enough twist in my singles, because yeah, you kind of need to adjust. I don't want to run the mini too fast, but at the same time I kind of need to. And the thing is, yeah, I have to play with the tension to adjust the takeout. You know, if you spin, you know how it is. It's just that it's not a thing that you have to deal with if you're spinning on a spindle, because you know, if you need more twist, you do more twist before you wind on the yarn on your spindle. Here, you're not the one in control of the wind on. Of course, you can stop the wheel. It's just that, yeah, you're not going to stop it every 2 seconds, and you need to find the right spot to be able to spin consistently with enough twist. So yeah, I've been trying to adjust to that. This is, I don't know what I'm going to do with it because it's breaking apart. So, but yeah, with that I've been able to see that the wheel can indeed ply. And yeah, this is my second yarn that I'm spinning on it. This is a merino top. Let me grab a bit of it. Yeah, I mostly have merino in my fiber stash because I used it for weaving, so I have a lot of it. And I thought I would practice on it, even though I really want to be spinning Shetland and Corriedale, and I'll get they're fairly affordable fibers. It's just that to me they're the better fibers, so to say. So yeah, I'm waiting to be more gifted with that will to get spinning these types of fiber. But this is the merino that I have. It's a combed roving top, and it's fairly smooth. And yeah, it's interesting because I don't know if I'll have the same issue. It's not an issue, I just need to learn basically. But yeah, the phenomenon that's happening is that I have to take into consideration the wheel speed and the takeout, and I wonder if when I'll have a treadle wheel, if everything will feel more harmonious, because I'll be the one doing everything. You'd think that an electrical wheel would be easier because you have to focus solely on the drafting. Well, yes, but at the same time you need to get the speed and the takeout and the, why do I say takeout? The take, like, you know, the winding on, the tension right before you're able to focus on drafting, because yeah, it's not a fight, but almost, to be able to do what you want with the fiber before it gets into the bobbin. And yes, I can just spin slower, but yeah, if I spin slower, I'm not getting enough twist, and yeah, I appreciate that because it makes me more aware of the fiber I'm using and how long the staples are, for example, because I end up having to draft in a certain way. That as well, I need to relearn how to draft because I cannot draft. Like, I always see people drafting forward, you know, short forward, so instinctively I try to do that. It doesn't work, and of course it doesn't work with merino because yeah, the thing is, if I need to draft long, then at some point I'm not going fast enough in my drafting before the wheel takes the yarn, so I'm having to sit quite further away from it and find the right spot. So that's an interesting process, and it makes me more aware of the fiber I'm using and how it's behaving and how you need to draft it for it to work. So yeah, I am it's combed, so I'm spinning worsted, and yeah, well, there's no twist in that now, so I'll have to find a way to catch that thread. But yeah, this is what I've been doing on that little bobbin. The bobbins are so small, so cute. But yeah, that's my single. I really hope it will be strong enough to be plied. I'm not sure. It looks really good, but I'm not sure it's strong enough. Yeah, I think I'll just finish that bobbin, which is almost there. That's another thing. It's a funny, you don't think about it, but it's kind of tricky to get the bobbin to fill up evenly. But that's fun to do. I think I'll fill that bobbin and then I'll try maybe to chain ply it and judge at that time if my twist was enough or not. It's not super even. There are some bits that are a bit lumpy, but it's much better than the first one already. So, like I said, I have a ton of merino fibers. I'm going to get more familiar with the wheel, and then I'll be able to dig into other type of fibers, and I'm really excited. So yeah, I am so happy, guys, that I've gotten that wheel, and I'm having fun learning on it. I like the challenge of the electric motor, and yeah, I like the opportunity to get more tactile knowledge about the fibers before I get a nice, lovely wooden wheel. I'm jumping from craft to craft like mad woman, but I have a weaving finished object. Yes. I finished my completely insane wrap. Oh my, that thing is impossible to photograph. I had issues. So I finished it the other day and washed it. Am I showing you the good side? It doesn't mean anything. It's ridiculous. So this is a large wrap that I wove on my rigid heddle using I know my brother is sending me a text about something I already know. A hand woven wrap. I used scraps of fingering weight, hand dyed variegated yarns basically, and I didn't even use half of it. Used less than half of it. It's about my height. It's slightly bigger than my wingspan. I'm guessing it's 2 meters almost. I love it. And it's 60 stitches wide, which is the size of my weaving loom. So I just put everything in it without logic or sense. The warp itself was already crazy. There's a fringe at the bottom so you can see the warp. So the warp is the vertical thread, the weft is the horizontal thread. I am so happy to see that a lot of people are starting weaving. There's obviously Kristen from the Woolen Vine podcast, Yarngasm podcast, Woolen Vine, Yarn, you know who Kristen is. And Isabelle from why did I say it like this? Isabelle from the Fluffy Fibers podcast, which is my fellow French person podcasting in English. We live quite close. I was actually born in Montpellier. I don't know if you watch this, Isabelle, but yeah, you're living in the city I was born, and we're not that far away now. A couple of hours maybe. But anyway, she as well is starting weaving. She got a lovely weaving room as a birthday present, and I am so happy to see more people do it, because I think hand-woven fabric is, look at that drape. It's such a different feel and a different look than knitting. And the possibilities are really, really huge, and you just get this beautiful drapey fabric. It's also really forgiving for beginners. Like, I don't know if you remembered, but this was warp ridiculously on my loom. I wasn't able to warp it properly. It's my fault. Like, I did nonsense with my installation. So my warp was uneven, badly tensioned, and still, I think it made an absolutely great looking fabric. Yeah. It's funny how I used these colors so randomly and such bright colors, but the fact that they're woven, it kind of blends. No, it doesn't look that color blocky because the warp is going through. I guess it's what gives that impression of evenness, even though, yeah, yellow, pink, bright blue. But yeah, I really like it, and it's so big and soft, and it's going to be like a schlenket for home. I am so happy I finished it, and it really makes me want to make others like this, maybe with more coherent color things. I can still wear it like a normal scarf, like if I wanted to. You know, I can just fold it and wrap it, and it's like this giant stuff. I like it. I have to stand like this because my camera is maybe a bit higher than what it should be. There, and you can see my messy bed, but maybe it's a bit better. At least I don't have to be like this. Yeah, I really like it. I am so happy that it's done. And yeah, like I said, if like me you've seen all the other people started weaving, and you've been considering trying it yourself, yeah, it's like looms. They're a bit expensive. The warping takes time, but the learning process is not that harsh. It's forgiving. You have lots of resources, and even if you do complete nonsense like I do, you can still get something out of it. So if you've been considering trying weaving, I highly recommend you do, especially since now we're going to have all these lovely projects that are going to inspire us. And yeah, it made me finish it. Watching all these people starting weaving, and yeah, I just thought, oh yeah, I like weaving. Yeah, I should kick myself and do it more like I used to. So yeah, maybe we'll see a new rebirth of Weaving Enthusiasm on that podcast. Who knows? But I am super happy and it just looks completely nuts. I like it. And like I said, I still have, I think I only used maybe a third of all the scraps that I have. Maybe I should make another one. Maybe I should make 2 other panels and sew them together and make a natural blanket. I want to do that, but I want to do that with neutral colors. I want to make a blanket like this. 3 panels of 60 centimeters and sew them together. I'll do that one day. But yeah, it's completely mad. And here I am going to do minimalistic garments and stuff like this, and look at that thing. Yeah. I like a lot of different things. I'm not one of those people who have a really set taste. Well, I have a set taste. I know when I don't like something, it's just that I like a lot of things. I like a lot of different things. So there you go. I'm just going to hang it behind me like a proud banner. Okay, so I think I've said everything making wise. Dear, that's going to be long. I want to finish this episode by sharing with you a lovely initiative. It started at the beginning of the year. There is a French association which is called Les Chevaux Solidaires. So it's the charity skein, basically. They decided to unite together the French knitting community by using dyers and designers' kindness and products to help research for a rare disease, and it's fibrous dysplasia. I don't know the English term. It's a rare genetic disease that affects the bones, and basically they want to raise funds to help research. And so what they've been doing is that every month, since the beginning of the year, there is a yarn dyer that's coming out with a special colorway, and part of their profits is gifted to that association. At the same time, every month, a designer is publishing a pattern, and for the entire month that the designer is chaperoning the charity, the profits from that pattern sales are as well going into the funds to help research against that disease. I think it's a lovely initiative, and it just is quite incredible how much people are able to do starting from a common hobby. And the reason I'm talking to you about it now is that yesterday, so on the 1st of May, the pattern from May has come out, and it's a lovely design. It's the Zaza, I'm not sure how you're supposed to say it. It's a beautiful sweater from Marie-Amélie Designs. So Marie-Amélie is a French designer. She's Marmelade on Instagram, and she released this sweater for the charity. So it's a lovely, I'll put pictures here, it's a lovely lace garment with like a drop shoulder. I really like it. And yeah, if you don't know Marie-Amélie's work, you should definitely check it out, because she always uses, she mostly makes garments, and she always uses textures, lace details, but what I really like about that is that she's not just sticking the pattern into the sweater, she's shaping the texture in it, if that makes sense. Here in the Zaza, it's that triangle point here that the lace does, and I think it's really delicate, it's really feminine, and I've seen the testers' versions that are really, really cool. And yeah, so the pattern is obviously available in English, so if you want to have a look at it, and if like me you like it, yeah, I just wanted to let you know about this charity, because I think it's a lovely cause, and yeah, you can get a really pretty sweater pattern and help some people with it. I think that's it for this week's episode, guys. Woo! What a huge one. So yeah, to sum it up, Melies shawl on sale, my new design. Thank you for your kind feedback on it. The Joran top knit along for Breeze by Making Stories is happening, so if you want to participate, check the links down below. Marie-Amélie new sweater Zaza for the charity Skein Association, and I'm spinning. Yeah, that was a lot. I do not know when I'll be recording next, because I am waiting on Breeze. So as soon as I get Breeze and I get a good read of it, I will make a review on it in the next episode, but I will be going away in Romania mid-May, so the thing, yeah, I have to wait to get Breeze to film next episode, and yeah, that's it. There will also be the Project Focus video that's coming sometime in the next couple of weeks. I just need to take finishing shots of my project. And yeah, so maybe I'll see you at the end of next week, maybe on Friday. I don't know. Ask French Post to be efficient. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed that episode and that you didn't find it too overwhelming. I hope I was clear. Probably wasn't. I'll try to make sense while editing. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely day, night and week, and I will see you next time. Bye!